Thank you very much, and thanks for being here this morning. What a great crowd again. We appreciate that. And my thanks to Fran for the kind words, and it's been fun to get to know him. Although I've probably spent more time with his assistants on the iClub circuit. They've kind of rotated through, and had a chance to know them. And one of Kirk's is a guy that I had a good friend that worked with Kirk for many years down in Central Florida, so I felt like I knew Kirk pretty well. And I think one of the most important things any head coach can do when they get to their destination is hire a tremendous staff, and that's certainly been a huge part of any success that we've enjoyed. And I just have been so impressed with the group that Fran has put together, talking about Kirk, but all the guys. It's just a good mix, I think. I think they've hit the ground running with a lot of energy, great appreciation for the traditions of Iowa and the people of Iowa, and there's no doubt in my mind with that staff and Fran's leadership that there's going to be great success in the basketball program. So we're all certainly pulling for you, Fran, and looking forward to the years to come. I think a lot of exciting things, the Carver Hawkeye renovation, the new staff, and the new style of play. A lot of great moments are ahead, and we're all looking forward to that. So we wish you all the best. No question there. Just want to give thanks again to the iClub, the band, Spirit Squad, everybody for making this event so great. And welcome Mike and your guests. Great to have you guys on your annual basis, so appreciate being with us. And along a basketball theme, actually one of my best friends from years ago, my first job coming out of college was teaching school at a school called Worcester Academy. I've introduced John Bridge. John's a good friend of mine. Has been here usually on an annual basis, was here for the Wisconsin game last year, and John was actually a basketball coach that just coached football with Ken O'Keefe and I just to do something. Hang out a little bit, and we became very good friends. I think somewhere in the audience, I think his son Chuck is here with his friend right in the back. Chuck's a young guy from New England. Chuck's coaching at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, and I only said I thought he was here because I know he got here after I went to bed last night. And I went looking for him this morning, and both beds were empty, so I figured you guys somehow made it here. So welcome. Looking forward to seeing you guys. Last week was certainly a positive step for us. It was a good opener, and I thought the crowd was just fantastic out there. And all the events that Bob referred to earlier made the weekend very special. It was outstanding to have the 60 and 85 team back, the Evashevsky dedication. As Fran mentioned, Coach Fry came out to practice, and I just asked him if he might say in a few words, and as you might well imagine, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, let me say a couple words. As always, his point was right on target. He did a great job. And then Rob Jeter joined us on Saturday morning, spoke to the team in the locker room, and was with us for the coin toss. And it was great to have Rob back. His dad being one of the all-time greats in Iowa football history and had a great career in the NFL. So certainly there were a lot of positives. I thought the team was ready to go. I thought they played with good effort. And to me, I think the most pleasing thing after watching the tape on Sunday, it really appeared that our younger players, we had a lot of guys making their first appearances out there, some guys very young, and other guys older, guys like Tyler Nielsen, who's in his 4th year now, playing behind A.J. Eads, who stepped in and just did a nice job. So I think as a staff, we felt that was probably the biggest positive that came out of just how our new players responded to playing on Kinnick, and I think our veteran guys were a little bit more ready than they were a year ago. So that was certainly a positive. And then the other thing, we came out fairly healthy, had a little scare with Rick Stanzi, as was alluded to earlier, and he's absolutely fine. We get Josh Keppel back. He was cleared to play last week, but we didn't quite feel comfortable getting him in, but he's been with us all week, and looks very good. And then Sean Prater will be back with the team ready to go as well, so we're happy about that. Now the other part that I guess we're happy about, and it's really typical after a first game, when we looked at the tape, there are an awful lot of things that really need improvement right now, and we've had a week to hopefully correct some of those things that if we don't get corrected, certainly our opponent tomorrow will exploit. So it's always a very pivotal week, and I think we've had a decent week of practice. Hopefully we'll be ready to go. This is always a big game. Certainly it's a series that has obviously garnered a lot of attention, does every year at this time for a week at least, and we're looking forward to starting out tomorrow. Our captains will be the same guys. We've got Adrian Claiborne, Carl Klug on defense, Ricky Stanzi, and Julian Vandervelde on offense. And then our honorary captain will be Jim Swift. Jim played here, was a senior on Coach Fry's first year back in the late 70s, right when this series began. And Jim had a great career here as a tight end. Has done very well in his professional life and personal life, raised a great family, and Jim will be with us this afternoon tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that as well. Just a couple words about Iowa State, and I think the point I tried to make to our team, and I hope everybody realizes, you can really take last year's game and throw it out, and it's one of the few ones that got away a little bit in score during the course of the series. And if you recall, that was Coach Rhodes' second game last year. He and his staff had just gotten to Ames. They were 2 games into it, and I think some of the mistakes that they made that opened the door for us a year ago are probably the result of just a young staff or a new staff and a team in transition, and they certainly have grown since that time. And I don't know how it is with you guys, but once we play an opponent, we just kind of put them over there, and we're always looking forward. We're on to the next week, and obviously we get into conference play, our attention goes to the Big Ten. So I got to be honest, I really don't pay attention to any opponent, not just these guys, but any opponent once we play them. They're really not of great interest. And I think if you look back at what took place during their season, they had tremendous growth during the year, as you would expect. They went over to Nebraska without 2 of their leading players, Arnaud and Robinson, the running back, and beat Nebraska at Nebraska for the first time since '77. That's a tough thing to do anytime, and they did a great job over there. Went on and not only played in a bowl game, but won a bowl game in their first year. As you recall, it took us 3 years to get to that point as a staff and as a team. So to me, they've done a wonderful job in a short amount of time. They're playing with great confidence right now. They look good in the opener against Northern Illinois, a team that played very well against a couple Big Ten opponents a year ago. So we know this. We're playing a team that's very good. They're very talented offensively. Arnaud's been there. It seems like 5 years. I think it's 4. This is his 4th year as a starter, and he's done a nice job for him. The running back Robinson's excellent. As was alluded to earlier, their line is just gigantic. They've got a gigantic offensive line that really did a nice job against us last year, so we're going to have to step it up a little bit and get moving there. And a good group of receivers. And then defensively, they're very veteran in the back end, and they've got a lot of familiar faces up front too in that line. And their special teams, to me, usually a barometer of how a team's coached, and they play with great effort on special teams. So, the one common denominator, I think, anything, at least my involvement in this series over the last 11 years, you can expect both teams to play hard. And then typically, like most big games, and this is a big game, it gets down to the team that makes the fewest mistakes, and that's kind of been the history of the series. So the team that plays the cleanest out there doesn't open the door on special teams, things of that nature. That's a team that's going to have the option. And I will allude to that streak talk too. I just heard it this morning, and I read an article, I guess last night. I was catching up on some newspapers. And first of all, anytime people start talking about things like that, you get a little nervous. And then the other thing I'll point out, in that streak, even though they didn't score a touchdown in 2007, they found a way to beat us. So, it'll be good to keep them out of the end zone. That would certainly help our case, but we're going to have to do a little more than that. We're looking forward to it. It ought to be a great afternoon for football. It's always great to be in Kenning, and anytime these 2 teams get together, I think it's going to be a real competitive, tough football game. So, we're going to do our best to be ready. We'll look forward to seeing you out there tomorrow at 2:30, and appreciate your support. Thank you very much.